It's the day after the Chelsea defeat. I'm still fuming. We've got Rangers on Thursday and we've got Southampton on Sunday. It's going to be a tough month. I want the manager sacked. I want the ownership gone. Jamie Carragher has come out alongside Jamie Redknapp and Paul Merson after the defeat and said a lot of things. And I want to kind of break that down. I just feel so separated from this football club right now. I've been calling this out for months, and I'm not here to say I told you so, I told you so. But what Jamie Carragher says in these two clips I'm about to show you, alongside Jamie Redknapp and Paul Merson, just take a listen. Let me know your thoughts. Make sure you go down and drop a like. Make sure you have subscribed. The road to 40k is well and truly on. This was last night, directly after the defeat. Just take a listen and let me know your thoughts.
If you're doing well and you're winning 2-0, why would you change? I get that. You wouldn't change if things were going well. But it wasn't going that well in the first.
This part of the conversation, Tottenham are 2-0 up. A manager shouldn't change. I strongly disagree with that. You are playing against Chelsea, the highest goal scorers in the league, the most informed side other than Liverpool in the league, who have got players like Neto, Palmer, Nkunku, Jackson. You know the players. When you're 2-0 up, that is a very, very fragile scoreline. It's not 3-0. It's not 4-1. It's not 5-1. And you know what Tottenham are like? You know we have a weak underbelly. As a manager, when you're 2-0 up, I personally think, and I'd love to know your guys and girls' thoughts and feelings on this. When you're 2-0 up, you should, to a degree, change your tactical approach and maybe go a bit more pragmatic because you have something to protect, right? We know how strong Tottenham have been over the years on counter-attacks, especially with a player like Dominic Solanke who can hold the ball up. And we've got pace out wide in Werner, Johnson and Son. But we didn't. And what Jamie Carragher says here is absolutely spot on because at 2-0, it was not going well at all.
That they were 2-0 up, but the amount of times a Chelsea player picked that ball up in space in midfield and was running at the defence, you felt the game was going that way. And that's what I'm saying. When you can see Chelsea, Lavia, how many times did Lavia play one round the corner?
The amount of times Lavia got the ball in a defensive area and turned and played it through our lines was outrageous.
And you just like a little, as an experience, but it's not going the edge of your own box. It might be a little, okay, just let's go 10 yards deeper. Let's just take this thing out.
I've been calling this out literally for a year. Drop that defensive line 5 to 10 yards deeper. Immediately, you reduce the amount of sprints that Van der Ven's got to do. He probably doesn't get a hamstring injury. You maybe apply a little bit more pressure to your back line, but like this is just basic management.
To this, we don't need to be creating chances. We need to stop Chelsea creating chances. We're 2-0 up. That's what I'm talking about. What you're saying there, Jamie, I agree with you. I was thinking about this. You know, they've changed so many managers. We talk about Daniel Levy a lot. What Daniel Levy?
Just to give some context, if we sack Ange Postecoglou, that will be 18 managers, I believe, in 21 years. And bearing in mind, we had Pochettino for about 5 years of that, which means my maths is correct. It works out about 18 months a manager. That is absolutely shambolic under Daniel Levy. That is absolutely embarrassing. 1 trophy in 21 years.
He's done here in terms of the training ground and this. For me, I don't think there's a better stadium in the world. I haven't been to Real Madrid.
Of course, it's the state of the art. The infrastructure at Tottenham is incredible. The training ground, the stadium, the F1 go-kart track underneath. When it comes down to the football club and it comes down to the brand, we are one of the best in the world at being a brand. When it comes down to being on the pitch, we're disastrous.
But this, I think, is as good as anything in the world. And that's been Daniel Levy's strength in terms of a really stable football club. The stadium is delivered. He's delivered the training ground. It's probably some time for somebody else to come in because to not win it.
Of course it is. You are Bang on the money. Anyone that comes out and is defending Daniel Levy and saying it's not Levy's fault because of the stuff on the pitch, I agree to a certain point, but I disagree as well. When you manage a team, if anyone ever has managed a team, you are responsible for the outcome of that team. When you're the captain, you're the one they look at. When you're the manager, you're the one that gets criticized, right? The mentality of a football club comes down from the top. It's the hierarchy which set the president in the football club of how they're going to operate and what they're going to do within reason. Obviously, you're not going to expect someone like Charlton Athletic to win Champions Leagues, right? However, you look at the other big five in the big six and you expect them to go and win something. When it's Tottenham, you don't. Why? Because the ownership, winning, I personally believe right now is not at their forte. It's making as much money as they can. But at the same time, Daniel Levy has given Ange Postecoglou a hell of a lot of money. And it's not Daniel Levy's fault, right? That Ange Postecoglou is making criminal decisions week in, week out, time after time after time after time after time after time again. It's not. It's absolutely not. Is it? It's not Daniel Levy's fault that we have a manager who doesn't understand what a plan B is. It's not Daniel Levy's fault we have a manager who's got 7 losses in 15. Of course, you can blame the bench. You can blame the personnel are not good enough, but you can't tell me Bournemouth, Fulham, Brighton and Forest have got a better squad than Spurs and they're all above us. We're sitting 11th in the league right now.
Trophy in that period of time with the managers they've never really gone out of the way in the transfer market. They spent decent money without, blowing other teams out the water. The wage bill's always one of the smallest. You never.
Out of all the big 6 clubs, our wage bill is considerably the smallest, and it's the smallest by a long way. I actually think West Ham have a bigger wage bill than us.
We're going to get the best players, so it might be a time for actually a Daniel Levy, who I've been a supporter of because you look at the actual work that he's done. But now that work's done in terms of a stadium and a training ground, someone else needs to be in charge of this football.
He's had 14 managers in 23 years. That's nearly.
Sorry, 14 managers in 23 years. That is disastrous. That is absolutely disastrous.
Be a manager every year and a half. So that's something has to change.
He's not making the right decision if he's changing
exactly.
managers.
That's what I'm saying, and it's never him.
This team, and with the front three.
I'm sorry, but I've been saying this for the longest time. After the Arsenal defeat, Ange's tactics in some of these games this season, his in-game managerial decisions, his impact off the bench when it comes to his subs, his lineup choices, the fact that Reguilon or Spence can't get a game at left back when Destiny Udogie today it's been announced that he shouldn't have come back that early. It's disastrous. It's absolutely fucking disastrous what is going on at this football club. And if people like Jamie Carragher, Paul Merson and Jamie Redknapp can see that, then why can't the entire Tottenham fan base see that? Yes, Daniel Levy, right, he's one of the worst owners when it comes to winning things in the world. But at the same time, Postecoglou, as a manager, is absolutely hideous. He's a good manager, but he can't brush off this stubbornness, this willingness to have it his way.
If it's going to be Johnson, Son, and Solanke up front, every time they go 2-0 up, they should never lose that lead. Never. Not with that front three, because
I disagree. Johnson, other than a back post tap-in, his all-round game's not good enough. Solanke was very good yesterday, and Son's been poor in terms of his overall performances for months.
if you sit back and you count, they've got the perfect counter-attacking team. You play it into Solanke.
Literally what I just said. You sit back and you counter-attack and you defend your 2-goal lead and you might win 3 or 4-1. You don't make absolutely idiotic decisions. You got more space on that pitch. You can build a house out there.
He was holding it up for fun. It was causing problems. Teams have got to take a chance. And when you've got the pace of Son and Johnson, I mean, they should, anytime they go 2-0 up, you should be the worst team.
You should be looking at that and thinking, how on earth are we going to come back? Look at the pace they got on the counter. Look how much of a threat they are. Look how dangerous they look. But no, We go 2-0 up, and there's a soft underbelly. And that underbelly, that soft, weak mentality comes from the board. You look at where Arsenal have been since we finished above them under Conte. They have gone like this, and we've gone like this. And that they go out and spend 105 million on Declan Rice. Look at Chelsea. Everyone was calling them £1 billion bottle jobs. Now look at them.
To play against in the league, you should be sitting there thinking, this is game over, really. This is game over, because when we start taking a chance, they're going to pick us off for fun with their pace, like they did against Man City at times. But it didn't happen. They just go. It's like playing at Power League or goals. It's just like that. It's end to end. It's like basketball.
It's a basketball game. Exactly. It's a basketball game. There's absolutely zero control. We have no one who can get on the ball and control things. Bissouma, I never want to see that guy play for the football club ever again. Sarr was woeful. Bentancur out. So who else have we got? We sold Lo Celso. We sold Højbjerg. Underbelly, he's gone now. Who else have we got? Archie Gray. We're going to pin all this on an 18, 19-year-old kid alongside Bergvall. The recruitment is shambolic.
Can you legislate for the 2 decisions that led to the penalties? Is there anything a manager can do about that?
No, he can't. He can't.
Of course you can't. That part is not on Ange. That's just idiotic decision making in the penalty area. That is absolutely woeful decision making in the penalty area.
Where's the players? You know,
I'm not sure
he
does.
brings them. Oh,
he didn't. I don't think he bought Bissouma. He didn't buy Bissouma or something.
All right, but they're playing. They're playing.
Yeah.
They're playing. So he trusts.
They're playing under his management, his coaching. Other than Dejan Kulusevski, how many players have improved this season under Ange Postecoglou's coaching? I don't know.
They play. Then you've got to rely. They're playing in the best league in the world. This is the best league in the world. Everybody loves it. You've got to be a top player to play in the Premier League, they say. So do top things. You know, what Sarr's doing, I wouldn't expect my boy to do it. He's 9. I'd sit.
Paul Merson is talking about his 9-year-old son. What on earth are we doing? It's madness. It's absolute madness. So many piss poor decisions.
Sit there, if my boy was doing that, I'd sit there and think, how could you ever be a footballer if you're doing that and you're 9?
And these are on 100 grand a week. Let's get to what Jamie Redknapp says. So I think this is the next important part.
Challenges like that. Like, you're right, mate. But Romero gets injured. Whether that he got the injury,
he did a Cruyff turn on his own box.
A Cruyff turn in his box.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if your manager is onto you on a daily basis, that's not acceptable. You don't do that. Son on the edge of his own box just before half time, trying to play a little.
That can be improved from coaching. We don't need to play like that. That's absolutely disastrous. Like, we're sitting here on the 9th of December. We're 11th. 11th in the Premier League. That is categorically unacceptable on every single metric. We've lost more than the bottom than anyone other than the bottom 3. The recruitment's diabolical. The coaching. There's a reason why we're 11th. And we're only 1 point off of Manchester United. We are 1 point off of Man United. Now, if that is not alarm bells, because they are in the worst part of the Premier League they've ever been in, I don't know what is.
Things that players do. I think Porro did something similar on the edge of. These are things that the manager asks for or looks for, because you wouldn't do it. We don't see other teams do it to the extent that Tottenham do it at times. So that's when I go back to that. But I just want to go back to Daniel Levy, because when you look at, say, Man United, City and Chelsea, really.
I've not seen this video before, but I guarantee you at one point he is going to allude to the rest of the big 6. And we're just little bro.
In terms of what they spend, it's difficult for Spurs to compete with that. Liverpool have probably done it in a clever way, but I go back to Arsenal. Now, we associate Arsenal with winning titles in the past with Arsene Wenger, but they've gone a long time right now. For the last 5-6 years, Tottenham and Arsenal have always been in a fight for the top.
I literally was just speaking about that. We're at a point now where, and I mean this, I genuinely mean this with every ounce of my being. We're at a point now where another manager is going to come in and we are still going to be here in 18 months' time. Like, we're still going to be here in 18 months' time, regardless of who the manager's going to be. That tells you there's a hierarchy problem. That tells you there is huge. That for me, disastrous. Absolutely disastrous. You look at where we are in the league. I think Jamie Carragher, Jamie Redknapp, and Paul Merson are absolutely spot on. The manager is clueless and the recruitment has not been good enough. Is it time for the ownership to move on? Probably. Probably is an understatement. You look at these recent results. Cut our last 8 games. Beat Villa, lost to Galatasaray, lost to Ipswich. Beat City, drew to Roma, drew to Fulham, lost to Bournemouth, lost to Chelsea. 2 wins, 6 defeats, 2 draws. Sorry. 2 wins, 3 defeats, 3 draws. That is relegation form. You go back before that. We had a little run of games. Lost to Brighton, lost to Palace. It's just too up and down. We need someone to come in who actually has got a game plan and stabilize things until we get to January. I don't know who that manager's going to be. I really don't. But look at that. Look at that. Everyone keeps saying we're 7 points off the top 4. We're also 7 points off the relegation zone. That's madness. If West Ham win tonight against Wolves, we're only 2 points behind them. That is disastrous for us. I just feel like we're going round and round and round and round and round and round in circles. It's madness. It's absolutely madness. Let me know your thoughts down below. I'm out.